Good morning, everybody. Shift your mindset here with a new episode early in the morning, but just came in from yesterday, and it's about another one bites the dust. And that's good because we were talking about one of the 5 men who was caught by the system for assaulting children. And that's a good thing because now, 28th of March, it's about Marc Brown. And we say his name out loud because he gets all of our attention. Because he was sentenced to up to 30 years in prison for abusing 2 children, the state prosecutors announced Friday. What's the deal with Marc Brown? The Pennsylvania Attorney General said 67-year-old Marc Brown of Allegheny County was given 12 to 30 years in state prison after he pleaded guilty. So that's a good thing. Aggravated assault, endangering the welfare of children, related misdemeanors, and some other nasty things I won't say out loud because then the video is getting deleted. Brown was one of the 5 men charged after the statewide investigating grand jury, and they heard testimonies from several Jehovah Witnesses who assaulted children. Member of the congregation he was when he assaulted the children. And that's a problem, people. That's a big problem. Because he was a Jehovah Witness at the time of when it happened. So he's also sentenced and viewed by me as a Jehovah Witness when he was doing these things. He couldn't escape accountability in the end. I know Jehovah Witnesses, you try it to cover it up, to delete records, to not hand them over to the police and stuff like that. But this grand jury was catching them. And that's how it should be. Hard work of the investigators. I applaud you. The grand jurors, the bravery of the survivors. And the Attorney General said this significant period of incarceration is appropriate for someone who repeatedly harms children. And he repeatedly harmed children during 2004-2006. So 20 years ago he was about 47 years old. And if you look at the Jehovah Witnesses, they are going for the gold medal of the most abuse cases in religions. If you look at them in the Catholic Church, in some countries and some areas, they have a far higher chance on assaulting children. And this man, one of the 5 who was caught, is now sentenced to prison. So it's a good day. We end this week on Sunday with good news, and I hope he gets more than 30 years, but 30 years will be enough because then he is 97 years old. So then he is already gone, I think. So he will probably die in prison, and that's what he deserves, in my opinion. Because if you ruin the life of children for the rest of their lives here on this beautiful earth, you don't deserve to go out and being free. You're gonna be locked up. But What's wrong with the Jehovah Witness doctrine is simple. It's the two-witness rule. And I say it again, the two-witness rule. Why? Why is there a two-witness rule when you have a suspicion of harming children? Because, let's read it here in what was going on in this court case and what he did. They heard testimonies that Brown groped the children. Okay. But watched them shower. Filthy, filthy. Would sneak into a bedroom at night to assault them. Jehovah Witnesses. How can there be a second witness in a court case about children? It's time to change your policy. There can be a second witness when it comes to adultery, maybe. Or you saw someone smoking on the schoolyard. Then there's maybe a second witness. But these things are not happening in plain sight. These things don't happen with the parents of those minors with you. We heard about stories about going on vacation only with the boys and the parents stay at home. Or that children are spending time by a brother alone. There are no witnesses around these kind of misdemeanors, of these assaults and stuff like that. It's not that I get assaulted here in town and then there are people standing around it and they are witnesses and I can call them to be a witness. When I get robbed or something else, or someone hits my car, or there's a traffic accident, whatever, then there is likely a witness. But where is the second witness when he watched them shower? Is he gonna say, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm gonna watch your daughter or your son in the shower now. I see you in 10 minutes. And they say, okay, we go with you, and there's another witness, or they saw him doing that. If you sneak, the word is already enough. Sneak into the bedroom. So sneaking is that you don't want someone to find out. Sneaking into, you don't want to be caught. You are cautious. You are looking around you that there's no one who could see you. That is sneaking into a bedroom. I would sneak into the bedroom and that my wife don't hear me coming in and fall asleep because I don't want to wake her. That's sneaking into the bedroom. But that's something I do alone. There's no witness around. So how, Jehovah Witnesses, can you keep up this doctrine, this policy about the two-witness rule? Even in the Bible, in Deuteronomy 22:25 or 23:25, I don't know. It's about a woman who's alone in the field and someone sees her and forced her. If she mentioned that to the people at the gate, the older man at the gate, that man would be stoned to death. It's in the Bible, that scripture. So it's a one-witness rule. Already in the Bible, in your source. The one who you give all the power to the Bible. We follow the Bible scripture by scripture. No, because that woman in the field was alone. And when someone groped her, And she goes back to town to the older man at the gate, and she mentioned it. She testifies that he harassed her, that he assaulted her. There is no second. They don't go around the whole city asking and knocking on doors if there is a second witness. If that woman from that field goes to the older man at the gate of town, of the city, and she told that story, he would be stoned to death. There is no trial, there is no defense, there is no thing. No, eye for an eye. So even in the Bible, I can give you the scripture that there is no need for a two-witness rule. And if you want to maintain a two-witness rule, do it for things that are not that important as assaulting minors, children, our future. If my child would come to me and say, hey, that man assaulted me, I'm not going to find another witness. He's mine. Honesty of children. Why doubting that? Even Jesus said, hey, be more like children. Why? Because children are always that honest. They surprise us with their honesty. Children are playful, joyful. They're not thinking about things. They are still not conditioned by this whole society that this is bad and that is bad. And if I'm being playful and loud, that someone is gonna watch me and think, oh, strange person. But later on in our life, we are getting conditioned and we are changing our character and stuff like that to maintain a certain role and stuff like that. But children, Jesus was saying, look at the children. You can learn a lot from children. But children are also innocent. And they're not making stories up. So this whole two-witness rule, throw it into the bin. At least about minors and children. Governing body, you can't maintain this any longer, and you have to take responsibility for what is going wrong. Don't defend this. Make sure elders get training how to cope with these situations. If there is a suspicion, contact authorities, let them handle them. Give Caesar what Caesar wants. That's also in the Bible. Follow the playbook in this world about accusations. If you do that, you will have a far more clean organization than you have now, because what's now is that you get a bad reputation one after the other. And this also, Marc Brown, 67 years old, sentenced 12 to 30 years in state prison. And it was not a one time, it was repeatedly abuse of two children in 2 years' time. Those children are marked, are ruined, have traumas, maybe for the rest of their life. Depends on how resilient they are, how much they can process or get rid of the trauma. But they are traumatized. And that's because of someone in a religion that shouldn't be there in the first place. It shouldn't be swept under the rug. It's 20 years later, and now it finally is in the open. And I hope that a JW will say Jehovah is cleaning his house. That's a good thing. But that's not the general opinion. The The general opinion is, yeah, but he's not a JW anymore. No, but he was at this time. And all the people who were doing this were Jehovah Witnesses at that point of time. And most of them are still Jehovah Witnesses. They are disfellowshipped and came back or whatever. They moved to another congregation, and even then they did it again. So people, 2025, governing body, it's time to wake up. It's time to take responsibility. It's time to say we handled it wrong. We apologize. And make it new light or whatever what you want. I don't care. But you have to fix this for all the children who are hurt in the process. Under your supervision. Elders' supervision. How are you handling this case, elders? Are you stepping down because you don't want to do anything with this anymore? Because you are liable as much as the governing body. You enforce those rules. You say, no, there's no second witness, sorry, go. Okay, next case. And then we handled it. You didn't handle it. You are also a father, maybe, as an elder. How can you go along with this? Because, mark my words, elders, you also are going down. Because now more is rising to the surface. And you're just as liable as the governing body, district overseer, everybody. Service department who handles it. And still, the police is not involved. Still, a lot of cases are not being handled because we're missing a second witness. How sad is that in 2025 that you're still maintaining a bullshit rule because I just gave you a rule, governing body, for free, no charge, to where it says that they don't need a second witness. That girl who was raped in the field was enough to handle the matter and give that man a sentence. And maybe we have to go back to the sentences of the old days. That we stone somebody. No, I'm not saying we have to go back to the old days, but cases were handled quicker, better, I don't know, but at least they were handled quicker. And that's a good thing. But I hope this man gets his 30 years and he spends the rest of his miserable life in prison where he can think about what he did. And I hope those girls are getting the life we want them to live free, guilt-free, anxiety-free. It will be a long, long road, a lot of therapy, I think, but I hope they're gonna make it and start living a life without fear. So guys, this was the court case. Allegheny County, so charged after the grand jury investigation. So it's good news that there is a group busy, that the grand jury is investigating Jehovah Witnesses, Harrisburg, Allegheny County, and it's one less problem walking around in that religion. Thank you for watching. See each other on the next episode.